Right. On behalf of BRAOU University, Faculty of Commerce and Business Management, and IIC, and on personal behalf, I welcome you all for this webinar, which is being organized by Department of Business Management under the IIC portal. And friends, today is the being World Environment Day. That is 5th June every year.
Replace Madam, say ma.
Organizing
Voice was the question like అది replace చేసి 1 minute madam.
ఒక్క నిమిషం
some noise.
అవసరం ఒక్క నిమిషం.
ఏమైందమ్మా? ఓకే, మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి. Yes. Start again. Okay, right. So on behalf of B.R. Ambedkar Open University and my own behalf, I welcome you for this webinar today, which is scheduled on World Environment Day. And this event is being organized by IIC, Institution Innovation Council of B.R. Ambedkar Open University, which is established under the guidelines of AICTE Government of India. And this IIC was established in this university on 29th of February 2024, and then we have been organizing this kind of activities as per the list given by the AICTE. And today is 14th program offered by this IIC at B.R. Ambedkar Open University. So friends, for this program, we have invited Professor K. Rao, former Vice Chancellor of Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur, and Director of SAE Education Institutions, Bangalore. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Is system audible? Go the power. I think there is a problem on that system.
Okay, is it okay?
Now you are audible.
You're right. So today we have invited Professor K. Rao, former Vice Chancellor of Nagarjuna University, Guntur, and he is today with us to give his talk on World Environment Day, June 5th, and on the topic, our climate and our future. So it is in this context, I would like to invite all my colleagues from the department, Professor Y.S. Kiranmai, Dr. Radhakrishna, other research scholars, friends and participants. And special thanks to Professor Rao Garu for his consent and making himself available to deliver today's talk. And as all of us aware that, UNEP given this environmental theme to designate global host country to spotlight major environmental issues. And the very purpose of this event or occasion is World Environment Day is to raise awareness and encourage action on urgent environmental issues such as marine pollution, overpopulation, global warming, sustainable consumption, and so on. So ultimate aim of this program is to protect and restore our planet. So it is in this context, we have requested Professor Rao Garu to deliver his talk on the theme given by him. And, I also thank all the university administrators, including Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Finance Officer, and other officials for their encouragement, support, and cooperation in organizing this kind of events at BRAOU and the Department of Business Management. So now I request Madam Kiranmai to, Dr. Radhakrishna to introduce today's guest, Professor V.N. Rao Garu, former Vice Chancellor Nagarjuna University. Over to Dr. Radhakrishna. Dr. Radhakrishna will introduce the guest.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. It is my proud privilege to introduce our today's keynote speaker, Professor K.V. Rao, the former Vice Chancellor of Acharya Nagarjuna University and in charge of Krishna and Vikram Simha University, Andhra Pradesh, and basically a professor of Commerce and Business Management. Acharya, with 40 years of teaching experience in the Commerce and Management Studies and attempted many innovations in teaching. Presently, he is the Honorary Director of SEA Group of Institutions, KP Puram, Bangalore. Professor Rao has authored 20 books in the area of finance, educational administration, and business ethics, and has published nearly 180 research papers in reputed national and international journals. He has also contributed to PG, UG, and research programs and served as a course designer and contributor for IGNOU and other distance educational institutions. He has served in several academic and administrative positions, including finance advisor to the Vice Chancellor, head of the department, dean, registrar, rector, pro-vice chancellor, and has been a conference chair, keynote speaker, resource person for numerous national and international events. Professor K.V. Rao has received several prestigious recognitions, including the Best Research Paper Award from Institutions of Company Secretaries of India 2002 and 2005. The Best Teacher Award from the Government of Andhra Pradesh 2009. The Outstanding Excellence in Academic Leadership Award from the Nexus Eclat Honorary Society, Maryland, USA 2022. And the Lifetime Achievement Award as the Global Education Leader from the Earth Constitution Institute, USA 2025. He has also served as a visiting fellow of the University Grant Commission, New Delhi. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Radhakrishna, for briefing my profile. Thank you.
Sir, now you are requested to start your talk.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Pawarji.
Sir,
So
sir,
for
thank you.
inviting me to deliver this keynote or as a guest lecture for you on this occasion of celebrating the World Environment Day for 2026. So every year, usually this is the day on which the World Environment Day is celebrated. So I thank you very much for inviting me to share my views with you all. And I also thank Professor Kiranmai for thinking of me and again and inviting. I think you all are aware that I was very excited to be with you on this day and every other day too, because I was associated with your programs right from it was AP Open University, when the Ram Reddy was there, and then this was started. I think I was one of those who had also participated and lecturing at Vijayawada in one of your centers on this collaborative courses done by you in collaboration with the Controller and Auditor General of India. Maybe I think you remember the diploma program was so successful. I still remember that there were about 7,000 admissions during that time into that program. So I still remember. So I used to take almost a day, some 4 to 5 sessions, both in the morning and evening like that with a little gap. So that I remember one of the useful programs. I think now also you may think such collaborations with some of these organizations like CAG and also other state level, associations in terms of enhancing their skill sets for those that are in service. That's in fact a program for the in-service candidates of the Controller and Auditor General of India. So I think that could be one feature which you can still further explore. So and also coming to the topic of the day. So I take the first opportunity to congratulate all those responsible for constituting this Institution Innovation Council. So this has been one of the flagship programs, and every higher educational institution is now so directed or in a way mandated to establish the IAC. So I think I did not hear properly when this was set up. Maybe I think recently or if earlier. So I think 2024-25 review is going on. Hope that you will get better stars. There is a scope for getting at least some 4 stars in this. And this is counted as a matter of fact in every accreditation. So the work that is done by the council is recognized in a way, and similarly so recently they have added one R&D cell also to this. So every IAC is also supposed to also start one R&D cell and carry out some mandated activities. They have given a list of about 20 activities that needed to be carried out along with the schedules quarterly which they are also giving. So hope that you are all active in that kind of a scenario. So coming to the subject proper, so I convey my greetings to all the participants that are on live and also that are not able to join. The greetings on the occasion of celebrating this World Environment Day 2026. So I think as you have rightly pointed out, this year's theme for the celebration is that our nature, our future. So on this topic, so I would try to make my own presentation. So just in a minute of time, I would try to share my presentation with you all, and then I think we can begin. Okay, so with this little introduction, I go to my presentation. Okay. Share from. This is the one. Where is this being saved? Yeah, now okay. Now? So now I think you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
So you are able to see this screen. So then I think I would go. Okay, so explaining this. So now I think so the topic is our nature and our future. So I wish to go so methodically in trying to take up the etymology of the terms that are here employed, the nature and also what is going to be our future if we disturb the nature. So in that context, I go to explain. So the very terminology of this, so I have depended upon some of the sources to define the expression, particularly nature. So I have sourced from the Cambridge Dictionary where nature has 3 dimensions according to the Cambridge Dictionary, where one it says life on earth. So which may include human beings, animals, plants, and including rocks. So that which really is independent of the humans. That means anything that is not made by a human is considered to be so forming part of the nature. Then the second interpretation of the word is that as a characteristic of something or of an object or an event. This we can say that naturally every object or any so subject will have some characteristic of its own. For example, hot, so that means say fire is having a nature of it is hot, and similarly ice has the nature of cold, so it is cool. So that way there is a basic nature for every okay, thing or every object. So that is another dimension that they are talking about. Then as it is applied to humans, the character of the humans is also considered to be the basic nature. But one thing here is that usually we say that people are positive, that whenever we wish to personify an individual, we say that he is very positive, or sometimes we say he is very negative. And of course, we don't go to saying that he is very sadistic or sometimes very emotional. And it is something like trying to comprehend the basic nature of a human being, but it is very difficult to just coin one adjective and then say that that signifies the total character of an individual. But still, that is one dimension we can think of a nature. Then if I go to the explanation given by the Encyclopedia Britannica, so it is telling that it includes the physical world along with the laws of nature. This is the beauty of the explanation given by the Encyclopedia Britannica, wherein it says that nature has its own laws. And we say that law of forces. So they would operate, and then there is no intervention that is required from anybody. Even if there is an intervention, that nature may not stop. So that is why, so it is said that nature has its own force of action. So in that context, one example we can, very easy and trivial example we can think of is that earth is having the gravity. So that is the reason why, okay, any object that is thrown above is going to fall automatically. So that is one thing. Then the third dimension of the nature is that it is a basic quality of an object or a human being that is said to be the innate disposition of a person or an object or any living organism. So that is as I explained. So everything, but unfortunately, we will not be able to really comprehend what is the nature of a human being. So I think we can go to the any extent and say that okay, the nature of a human being is very difficult to be comprehended. But still, I think we can make an attempt, so that in that context, I think we will see. And similarly, I think this has gone. You are able to see. You are able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are able to hear you and see the slide also.
Slides are coming, but slides are not coming to me. That's why I'm just waiting.
Yes, yes, I'm seeing the slide. What does nature consist of?
Yeah, that's okay. But my slides, I think I am not able
Okay.
to see here. That's why I'm just
We are
waiting.
able to hear you.
Yeah, that's fine. Just 1 minute.
Yes.
Sir, you do enable editing, it is there, no, sir?
Yeah, I think if Radhakrishna enable my slide presentation, I think he doesn't have my sharing. Let me see. I will share just now.
Sir, you please do that enable editing.
Yeah, I think it is coming. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so then I will go to the next.
Yes.
This is, I have taken the National Geographic as the another source for understanding and identifying what it speaks about the very term nature. So I think we are fascinated many a time to view the videos and also the other clippings of the National Geographic, which has been very, very popular, I think, across the world. So its explanation is something very interesting, wherein it says that it has nature has many manifestations, which include biosphere, mainly focusing on the ecological system, then biodiversity, then biophilia. So that is really they talking about the innate biological need of the humans, like so the mental and physical well-being. And the fourth characteristic is very important and most relevant to the topic of discussion today, that sustainability. This National Geographic feels that sustainability is the essential dimension of the nature. So that in that context, I think in the discussions that follow and in the slides later that I would also speak about so the sustainability and how significant it is going to be. So, and I think I have added the another interesting dimension in explaining the very word nature. I depended upon this IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems, So I think the India is endowed with many such traditional knowledge resources which include Vedas, Upanishads, Itihas and all many other Puranas or whatever the old literature that we often speak about. There, this IKS, I think I have one suggestion here. Being a very big university and very old, I think Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University can think of establishing a research center for studies in this IKS, Indian Knowledge Systems. So, and then trying to find out the relevance, establishing a relevance of the traditional knowledge of India to the present day context. So from that point of view, so I have depended upon the Upanishads, saying that Upanishads are the epitome of the Indian knowledge systems, and where I attempted to where the nature is tried to be explained. So in that context, this Taittiriya, actually there are 108 Upanishads which are most spoken of. But of them, there are only 11 that on which much of the literature is available, and of which on only 10, so Adi Shankara, who is very popular relating to Advaita, has written commentary. So I think all that literature would be very interesting, and recently I got introduced into this, and that's why I thought I think we can have a direct relation with what we have been talking about. So this Taittiriya Upanishad defines nature as consisting of 5 elements. So I think these 5 elements you see, Akasha and space, Vayu, air, Agni or Tejas. It is called mostly Tejas, that is fire, not fine. So then Apas, Jala, and then water, and finally earth. So all these elements are forming part of this, and these 5 elements, and the explanation of this particular Upanishad appears to be most logical and also the scientific, that we can see in the next slide also. So wherein this Upanishad says that all these 5 elements are intertwined in such a way that one is going to emerge from the other. Like say from space, air is emerging, and then from air emerged fire, from fire water, and from water the earth. And this earth consists of all the beings, and all these 5 elements are forming part of this. So, and there where we are having the life. And still more interesting aspect of this Upanishad and its literature is that all these elements finally return to their original places when a human being dies. So this is one realization that mostly and many a time that people speak about what happens to one after his or her death. So here there is one explanation. Simply we can say that man or woman is so human being, we can say, is consisted of these 5 elements, and finally when the life ends and these elements return to their original positions. So that is one explanation, appears to be most logical too. And then there is another Upanishad which is also popular, Isha Vasya, that is they call. It says that universe equated are called also as Jagati is in constant motion, and it says it is the dynamic and shifting expression of the universe. So in that context, I think we can equate this the laws of motion that which are found in physics, and it says that all this, that the entire universe is in constant motion, wherein I think if we can see that this is the physics, if we can see in that, I think this equate with that, and more particularly this Upanishad says that the universe, so how it is formed and all those things. And in fact, say if we can relate and take this to the another, okay, so philosophy that also originated from our land, that is Buddhism, there is one belief in that, or one statement or one principle that they coined, that nothing is permanent in this universe. That is their statement. So that means impermanency is the sole or major reason for the dukkha. That means that is what they say. Is it? So that is what believe. The Buddhism believes that there are many causes or many reasons for the person to have okay, this dissatisfaction or sorrow, what we call. And one of the things is that the realization that nothing is permanent is the reason or major reason for one becoming very sad. Anyway, so then coming to the other Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad is also having, so explaining this particularly universe equated with nature, saying that there are 5 elements and then they are primordial to the nature. That means they are the fundamental, okay, to the existence of the human beings. That's why, so nature is said to be the living manifestation of the universe. That is in terms of, so what Upanishads and our Vedic literature says, it says that Brahman is equated with the universe. So that is what they talk about. And whether we agree or not, or whether you keep faith in that or not, but there has been, I believed after going into this and researching on some of these aspects, there has been a lot of logical explanation that we can find in all this traditional and IKS literature. So then the Upanishads also portray that there are 2 states of reality. That is microcosm and macrocosm, and it says that human being is the miniature of the universe. That means microcosm is represented, individual is represented by this, and universe is represented by macrocosm. So that what happens is, there has been a tagline saying Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande. So that means universe is going to be consisting of only the individuals. A sum of these, or rather the aggregation of all the individuals only, can be said to be the universe. If individuals are proper, and then if they are well off, and universe also will be happy. So that is the kind of realization that should happen. And particularly what I believe, that the perception of this kind of literature would change. That means the belief or anything is going to change the perception of human beings towards nature. So in that context, I have been trying to quote from this. This is the 4th dimension of understanding the nature. So now coming to the reality, that means what is happening now. I think Pavarji has started also explaining what is the issue relating to the environmental imbalances, or what is happening to our earth. So there, I think there are many issues. If we can see, these are all the stark realities that one need to know, and then think of how best they can be mitigated. So in one sense, global so warming, so we are all so facing the wrath of the same thing. I think temperatures even in the place like Bangalore, which used to be cooler in these days, is very hotter during the days, and only cool, of course, compared to Vijayawada, my own place, and I don't know about Hyderabad. I think temperatures everywhere, I think, considered to be higher than their previous levels. Like, so the fact that was recorded is that the global temperatures have gone high about 1.55 degrees Celsius, okay, than the pre-industrial levels. So that is one realization. Similarly, greenhouse gas concentrations are also on the rise, so that causing melting of the glaciers and all that. And particularly, the realization is that the glaciers are melting at an accelerated pace, whereby we lost almost about doubling. The loss is doubling during the past decades. So that is one thing. And similarly, if we take the Indian example and then the experience that we have here, particularly people surveyed this Hindu Kush Himalayan region, where glaciers are melting at 65% faster than they did in the previous decade. So I think this is a major cause of worry relating to the warming that is happening at the Indian context, and whereby there has been a precise estimate also as to what is the loss that we have already experienced in terms of the thickness of the ice. So the realization is that since 1975, about 227 meters of average thickness we have lost because of this global warming. Similarly, that Himalayas, if we say, I think whenever those that go to Himalayas, you will also observe that ice is forming, and then the ice formation is also coming down. And then the longevity of the ice that is formed also is steeply coming down. I think it is estimated that about 85% of the glacial volume is going to end by the end of the present century. I think this is a major cause of worry for any of our people. That is why I think so. India, in fact, if we can say, there are major other things like, say, using these fossil fuels and other things, coal. For example, India has been identified the largest consumer of coal after next only to China. So, and basically about 70% of the industrial energy requirements are met by burning of coal in India, and get other things. I think you can know that about 1 billion metric tons a year we are consuming. And now that I think recently in the budget also 26-27 budget, I think the finance minister has been entertaining an idea as to the new project called coal gasification. They want to use coal for the purpose of producing gas and also various other byproducts like urea, methanol, and ammonia. I think the idea can be considered good, but the thing is, to what extent I think we can burn this coal is the point. But if we still go deep into the thing, the studies show that by now almost the coal that is available very easily and accessible easily has already been depleted. Now coal mining should happen only beneath the earth and not less than at least 300 meters. So unless you go deep into the earth by about 300 meters, I think coal extraction will not be possible. That is the problem. And then the major consequences, as we know, so not only the pollution resulting from the coal firing for the purpose of thermal energy and all those things, but one example which is said very frightening also, that these coal fires happening beneath the earth. I think one example from India is Jaria coal fire happening in Jharkhand. It is said that it has been there since 1916. It is said that it is still there. Okay, that means fire is not subsided and it is still continuing. So we don't know how many such fires are happening across the world, causing huge damage to the very earth. So, and then the other things, I think, and oil and gas. So except in the coal, so which are considered to be the other supplementary fuels that are used. I think as per one estimate, I think we will be the resources that are available with us would be completed by about 50 years from now. And we are already experiencing the issue relating to the West Asian crisis, the war that is happening between Iran and Israel, and also with the intervention of the United States. All those things we are seeing. And Hormuz, I think, is now, everybody knows the name of the Hormuz. And we studied only about Suez Canal and Panama Canal. Now Hormuz is the one where we have to lay our hands and then, go deep into what is happening there. But anyway, so in continuation, the other major resource and which forms part of the environment and whose damage is going to degrade our environment is the forest cover. In fact, forest cover, if we can see, between 2000 and 2020, in the world over, about 100 million hectares of the forest cover has been lost. And in India, it is said that about 2.4 million hectares of forest cover has already been lost, and which is considered to be equivalent to about 70% of the cover that is existing. And this has been happening for a variety of reasons due to increasing urbanization and newer demands from new states like AP, Telangana, Chhattisgarh, where they are very easily asking for relaxations in terms of denotification of the forest areas, and that can be done under the Forest Conservation Act. I think recently AP government has done and Telangana also has been doing, whereby what is called denudous forest will be there. So that means where shrubs and other things are considered not of that value, but still we will be losing the forest cover if indiscriminately the government of India permitting all these newer states in one name or the other, that we will be losing this forest cover still in a large measure. So that is another cause of worry which public also should develop an understanding. That is in my opinion. And then similarly, pollution of all kinds, So particularly, I think the AQI, so air quality index, every day that is measured at Delhi, Kolkata, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai. If you can see, I think you understand the position. Whatever the measures that were implemented by the Delhi government, earlier and present governments at Delhi, they are not working. You know that odd and even numbers transport systems, they failed. And then now they are saying that masks are also of no use, in Delhi. And then I don't know, I think maybe in some of the areas, I think it is very difficult to tread, without any mask or any other safety mechanism. So, but I think that is the position, and now people are also worried about the where I am there, the Bangalore. So it is considered the second highest now in terms of this traffic congestion and also pollution that is resulting from say overcrowded vehicles. So anyway, I think that is the reality. And similarly, I think by all these means, what is happening, the nature is getting endangered by all these possible means and making the life on earth very vulnerable. So now what to do and what are the efforts that were undertaken so far? If we can see, I think I have identified some of the things, but we cannot say that people, particularly the governments and all others, are very oblivious of these things. They are aware of all these things, but still the measures taken by them are not commensurate with the problem at hand. So in that context, I wanted to list out few areas of activity where the governments are involved, the civil society is involved, environmentalists are involved, and the general public are involved. So one such thing is about organization of the Earth Summits. So this is being done once in 10 years since 1972. So what is happening for every 10 years once, and the importance of this is that heads of the state are going to participate in this. That means all the chief executives, we say, all the heads of the governments would be joining here. And this is what Pawarji has been making a reference to this United Nations Environment Program. So under this, these Earth Summits are held. So, and similarly, first summit held in 1972 at Stockholm, Sweden, and every year it is continued in a series of that. And one such important thing happened in Rio, it is Brazil. So where in 1992 and also in 2012, where they have agreed about how to contain this carbon emissions and all those things that they wanted to bring to the level of about 2 percentage points they wanted to bring down, but nothing happened. That we will realize, and there is a lot of news about it. And the latest one in 2022. So next one perhaps should be held in 2032 only. And this 2022 thing signifies the 50 years of the organization of these Earth Summits, but the result has been very, very, we can say, very bleak. But one thing happened, but there has been a realization that is generated out of these Earth summits, particularly leading to the formulation of these Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. I think all the participants are also aware that we have the development goals, Millennium Development Goals, and then on as an offshoot of that, the Sustainable Development Goals 17 are there, and then to be realized by 2030, and then we should see only just 4 years are left. I think I have made another presentation when I was there in the conference also. I think I made a reference to this, only 4 years, but you can judge or imagine to what extent there has been a fulfillment in realizing these goals. I think it is anybody's guess now. And the second thing is about the action by the governments in the form of fixing many regulatory norms and pollution control boards and separate ministries. I think India also has a separate ministry in this, and then I think I will speak about this. So wherein so later in my presentation, what India has done in terms of constituting a ministry and also passing various appropriate legislations. So now initiatives taken by the NGOs, civil society and environmentalists, if we can see, I think I have a fascination to quote from the Branded Commission, which attempted to bridge the gap between the developed and the developed nations, which was once shaken during 1980s. Particularly, there was a lot of talk about the North-South dialogue. I think if you can see, to create a new international economic order wherein this environment also has been one of the very prominent issues for consideration and discussion to come for an agreement between the developed and developing nations. Of course, I think Branded has made a sincere attempt, but no government has honored the same thing. But this NIEO, New International Economic Order, is still elusive. I think those that are in the field of international relations, I think they may try to take it forward and see, impress upon the nations to see that there will be something that would take place. But I believe in person that there is a lot of necessity and urgency for striking a balance between the developed and developing nations, and in coming out with a new international economic order. But I think our participants also would realize this. And the second attempt, which is very fascinating, is the Al Gore. He is a former US president, and also he got a Nobel Prize in 2007 for his attempt towards having this environmental sustainability as an issue. I think you can see, I advise all the participants also to view this documentary available in the public domain, An Inconvenient Truth. So I think in 2006, which won the Oscar Award in the documentary section. So where I think it is very popular, An Inconvenient Truth. The title of that documentary. So that is, I think, which would be very interesting too. And then the other individuals, I think, which we can see who have been contributing so much for the environmental consciousness. We should appreciate their effort, whereby I think say now this girl, small girl, Greta Thunberg, I think maybe you might have seen her videos and all those things. She speaks so much that I think what happens and all those things. So that way, I think she has a tagline also. So I am very impressed by her initiative in this. And in India, if we can take some of these things, like there has been a realization, and for a long time people, that means those that are conscious of environment, or whom we call as environmentalists, I think they have been making some effort, like it started with the Chipko Andolan, I think to save the forest in that area, led by this Sundarlal Bahuguna, and similarly the forest man of India, so Jaidev Jaidev Payeng, and also Vandana Shiva, and she is also one of the crusaders to protect India from seed onslaught brought by US and other companies. Particularly, she has been fighting against Monsanto, okay, which produces this biotechnology and all these GM foods. She is very against and all those things. Okay, genetically modified food stuffs. And then Rajendra Singh, I think the waterman of India, who had made successful and gave a life. Okay, we can say that rebirth to many of the rivers in India. And Medha Patkar, I think, still is also very active and popular with this Narmada Bachao Andolan. So I think there are people who are conscious of this and then doing the effort in their own fashion. But I think there is a need that so much is to be done still, and many more people should join the bandwagon of saving our environment and finally saving our earth. So coming to the third aspect of the whole thing, what is it we can do right now? The need of the hour. I believed that I think these are some of my proposals to be considered by the policymakers. Either we call heads of the state or the policymakers or the executive or the civil society or any of these environmentalists. One thing at the international level, first I believe that, and first I propose relating to this bridging the gap between these developed and developing nations as to this environmental protection. So now there has been a blame game that is going on between developed and the developing nations, whereby so one accuses the other. So developed nations that claim that it is because of the contamination and then pollution created by the developing nations that the global warming is on the high. But whereas the developing nations say that the already developed nations have contributed enough, okay, and our contribution is minimal. So that is their statement. So now I think I believe that this blame game should stop somewhere, and then both of them should realize as to this particular thing. And then this second one is relating to the developing nations being low income. Funding aspect is the thing. So funding is the another crucial aspect, where I think being developing nations being very low income countries, they may not be able to contribute much, but developed nations should come forward to hold the responsibility. But unfortunately it is not happening. The reverse, it has been happening, particularly the United States pulling out from the almost all the UN agencies is one thing that which really causing worry to many other developed and the developing economies. One thing that say UN framework convention on climate change. So they have come out from this. Then green climate change, they have come out from this, and also from intergovernment panel on climate change, they have withdrawn. I think there is a long list. I think once it hit the headlines of many of the newspapers and this electronic media, about 66 international bodies from which the United States of India has withdrawn. So naturally, withdrawal means funding is not going to be available. I think that is the major cause of worry. And there are some allies also to this. So they also are withdrawing. So like UK, of course, not intentionally, but the financial position of some of the developed countries also is not so well. That is why they plead their inability to contribute in such a large measure. Like UK, we can see in this category, like UK and all other countries that which have been supporting the United States. So that is one thing. And then this third aspect is this. Now I think you also can join with me in seeing this. So now this environmental degradation, I believe, is happening because of this orientation towards mass production and mass consumption. So that is leading to, in my opinion, that Earth's scarce resources are consumed so without any reason or indiscriminately. That is what I wish to bring to the notice of the participants. So I think as a student of the economics, I think I still remember the slogans. Okay, the classical economists believe that supply creates its own demand. And that is the classical economics very base for this philosophy is this particular sentence. Supply creates its own demand. They still believe it, and particularly MNCs believe in this, and then they try to produce in a large measure. And then so through this, I think the small culture is only a reflection, in my opinion, of such a kind of mass production, in a way dumping on the people, and then with all the attractive incentives or anything what you call discounts or price offs or anything. So that is, I think, to what extent that is really required, and to what extent that is really helping to save the precious natural resources that we are required to see. I think in this, there is a tagline which business people use: pay as you can consume. Of course, if that is there, that will happen, and we have to see. Even in our roads also, I think our Minister of Transport is coming with an idea relating to these national highways. Okay, so where they want to do away with all these national highway toll plazas, and then he says that you pay as you can travel. So, but anyway, it has not come so far a reality. We will see what will happen. Then the fourth one is the implementation of the legislation. So wherein many legislations are there, and almost environmental protection, I think a plethora of legislations even in India, that I would show you a list of such, and a separate ministry is created in the name of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate. There is what is known as NGT, that I have not mentioned here, but National Green Tribunal. So what it does, and then its orders are really equivalent. Next, only after the order of the NGT, next highest level body to which a representation can be made is only Supreme Court. But still, I think nothing is happening, and it has been fining, but nobody is paying. I think I know that once upon a time, government of Telangana was fined by 100 crores, government of AP was fined by 100 crores, but nobody has paid. We don't know what happened. And then this continuous litigation, I think, is really causing inaction on the part of these governments. So I think we should see how this NGT can be made very active. And coming to this legislative framework, I think I wish to also bring to your notice that you are named after Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the very constitution, or the chief architect of the Indian constitution. And constitution has a few provisions that which are very relevant to the topic of discussion and protecting the environment, where Article 48A says that the state has the responsibility to protect and improve and safeguard the forest and wildlife. I think I have told you what is the extent of forest cover and what is happening right at present. And similarly, wildlife also. There is an act to save the wildlife, and to what extent in practice happening, that we should see. Then there is an article 51A, this is about the fundamental duties. Now, casting responsibility on the citizen, so that they need to protect the environment and all that. I think throwing the burden on them instead of the state. I think this is also we need to look into, to what extent even a dutiful citizen can honor this. Then the very important article many a time comes for discussion during the proceedings of the Supreme Court, High Courts. This is Article 21, that is what? Right to life. So right to life is interpreted as right to life with dignity. So dignity here is said to be ensuring pollution-free environment. Really, can this be implemented? They say that right to life is one of the very important rights that is ensured to the citizen of the country. But to what extent we really enjoy the life with the dignity, I think we have to make a soul searching in this context. But the list of relevant acts, as you can see, I think I have made a list of very important acts relating to all these things. But one thing is there that there is, by virtue of this, there is what is known as environmental clearance that is to be given by the government of India for any project to be commissioned in the country. But what is happening? So under that, what is known as the environmental impact assessment is required to be conducted. So now who is conducting, to what extent this is taken into consideration, and why? So okay, industries that which are causing lot of pollution are also being permitted to operate. I think you should see. I think I have, having the also some so experience and then also information about the Patancheru. I think you all we are there and you are all aware, okay, how Patancheru and now how Hyderabad is being influenced, or rather in a way, how Hyderabad and the life is being endangered by the pharmaceutical companies and the pollution that it is created by all those industrial units there, okay, in other part. I think that is pharma city and all those things. That while this has been the experience of the individuals, I think they say that we have been conducting all these environmental impact assessments. After that only we are permitting. I think this is all requires to be examined. I think this is where I think the civil society and every individual or every citizen of the country need to be very, very active. But unfortunately, we have to raise a litigation for everything. So for implementation of any of the provisions, we need to raise a litigation which is very, very costly in India, and ordinary people cannot do that. Though it is said that, the rule of law prevails in our country. I think you are all aware how rule of law is going, or how it is being observed and implemented in our country. I think you are all very well aware of, and the experience of the individuals also shows, okay, whether really rule of law is really prevailing and a common man and a wealthy man are getting the same kind of justice is the one that which needed to be examined. In the same context, I think environmental protection also and the pollution caused by all these people also is one such thing. So that is where I think we need to see. Then efforts at the citizen level. I think it is not something like throwing the blame on the individuals, but at least on their part also, they can be responsible. As the saying goes, charity begins at home. Okay, if we are responsible to some extent, it can happen. And of course, it has been, sometimes it is said that the individual, that means human being, is the most polluting agent. Okay, but whether we believe it or not, maybe by virtue of his conduct or by virtue of his recklessness or all many of the other things, I think individual also contributes. And that is where I think a comparison is often drawn between the developed and the developing nations as to the conduct of individuals and in terms of maintenance of cleanliness at the house and also in the public places and all those things. I think the popular slogan now is that, okay, reduce, reuse and recycle, okay, and waste management. They say 3 bins are supplied to us also. I think in all cities, maybe you also are given those bins. And I think again, there is a problem that who is really, okay, segregating that waste, okay, waste, wet to dry and other electronic and all those things, SRDS. In the airports only, I think we see to some extent all this is happening, but not at houses. I think apartments in Bangalore, I could see, and all my, I think our colleagues in the here complain that every time we are fined for non-segregation of the waste generated out of the apartment properly, and fines are very heavy. But of course, so to see that something will happen. So in every the context, I think from small measure to the larger measure, if one is going to be conscious of this to some extent, maybe we will be able to really save the planet and save the earth. And that is why I think sometimes it is said one who consumes pays the tax, and similarly the one who pollutes suffers the onslaught. There is no tax, but we only inhale the polluting air, and we only suffer from hazardous noise and the decibels. There is no control on the automobiles, and I think you feel so fed up. Earlier, I think it has been our individual experience while traveling in Ambassador. We don't have anything, and all the glasses are down. But now there is nobody, I think, who can venture to go, okay, when glasses are down, and then without AC traveling in any city, I think he is taking only a personal risk. But I think you also experience this thing, and which we can say that I think this statement is good. Act now or never, save the earth forever, and because there is no planet B. I think people nowadays, it has become a fashion to talk about different plan A, plan B, and of course, if any other plan is there. But at least as far as our existence is concerned, there is nothing like planet B. So that is why I think there is a necessity that we need to save our future for living for ourselves. I have just also have taken some news clippings to emphasize upon. These are all very recent. This is on 3rd, which came in Hindu on 3rd. Now we are 5th. Okay. It's a very starting revelation where AIMS has conducted a study. So where it is trying to bring to the notice of the people that air pollutants are having a deleterious effect on the fetus of the people. So that means naturally people, that means offsprings will born with all the deficiencies, defects, and we used to suffer, and they may perhaps sometime they may become the people that which are really having with some of the disabilities, and we call that people having some of these issues. So I think if you go through, I think this is there in the 3rd, I think in the Hindu. I think if we read this, we understand really what is the problem at hand. And similarly, I think I have also here seen this El Nino is one of the things, and this is the here. So I think this is the news that was shared by this World Meteorological Organization, WMO, I think regarding the effects of El Nino. Okay, that is thing. And today, I think our friends, whether seen the news on many news are there for that matter. There is a news of the director of the Indian organization, UNEP, of that Indian counterpart. He has been I think Balakrishna, Peace Party, has written one article on the UNEP's program that is happening. I think he made a review that appeared in Hindu today. Okay, so speaking about what are the efforts that UNEP has been taking and all those things to contain the deleterious effects of the degradation in the environment. Okay, and today also there has been another news that I have not here captured. So when El Nino becomes an economic crisis, okay, this is one of the news to publish today in Hindu, saying that not only this that there is this El Nino is going to cause this what we call the flooding, okay, what they now termed as the flash floods. Okay, so inundation is going to happen because of that. So not only that, he says not only that, but this is going to finally result in the economic crisis. I think that is where we have to see, resulting in like something like water scarcity, crop losses, food inflation, and many other things. Okay, that which they say that it will fragile the economic status and economic capacity of the nation. So I think that is why El Nino, they say, has many such effects. And then this is about the glaciers, melting of glaciers. I think I have spoken about this. Sara Dosha is one director. Okay, so who produced it? Okay, so a documentary with the title Time and Water. Okay, this is I think even very recently in 26, this documentary is also very interesting, speaking about the Iceland's melting of glaciers into a moving elegy. Okay, this I need to explain. This elegy means a music that which is played at the time of death of an individual. Okay, so whenever celebrities or important people of the nation die, so there will be a music that is coming in. Very AR and Doordarshan are very popular for this, So that way, this eligi means a music that is played at the time of any sad thing that is happening. So that is why this documentary is trying to emphasize that we are all required to play that. Okay, so then this is the cloud burst, and which is I told the resultant of this El Nino and flash floods happening. Recently, this is a photograph what happened in the Uttarakhand where 28 member delegation of the Kerala tourist group they have gone missing because of these flash floods. Okay, so that is this particular. I think we also have witnessed while seeing this. Okay, so TV and other things you might have noticed. So village has okay gone out of the scene. So that is really one unfortunate thing that has been happening. And the other thing, this seismic, that means this is about earthquakes. This is also very recent, okay, picturization as to how earthquakes are really so happening, and they have conducted a study in the northeast area. So as to how they are happening, what kind of devastation that they have made. So under this, I think we can see what is happening. I think these are all few examples as to how nature, when it becomes furious, is going to happen to the mankind. So therefore, there is a necessity to save, if we have to save ourselves, to save the nature, and even depending upon the IKS, being individual, being a microcosm, to save the macrocosm, we need to be very, very responsible. So with this, so I conclude my presentation. I thank all the participants for their patient hearing, and also once again thank the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University for giving me an opportunity to speak on this very, very important occasion. So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Kiran
Master, a very excellent lecture after a long time.
Okay. After a long time hearing a teacher, huh?
Yes, sir. Actually, recollected our days when we
Yeah.
were in the university hearing your lecture.
Right. 1 minute, 1 minute. Unmute, Alan. Madam, you can unmute now. Vikram Kirmaman.
Are you able to hear? Radhakrishna?
We can hear, ma'am. Yeah. Now we can hear.
Now
Yes.
are you able to hear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So yesterday, actually, we received a certification from the Council for Green Revolution that our university was recognized on its noteworthy environmental sustainability initiatives undertaken on its campus. So we would like to share this news on this occasion. So now the session is open for the discussions. If any of
Anything. I am there. So I am on
if any of the participants would like to would like to interact with sir, you can. The participants, the session is open. So then I think one question is from my side. So what is the
sure.
responsibility of these industrialists to protect the environment? Because much of the waste, you can see the industrial waste, which is mixed with water. Recently in Hyderabad, since last 1 month, we are facing a lot of issue. The
Yeah,
drinking
yeah,
water. It is highly polluted.
Yeah, say, Kiranmai, very good question and very apt and relevant to the context. That is where, because of this, the pollution has been increasing at a very rapid pace. Because as I have been also trying to inform all our participants that there has been what is known as environmental clearance. But there is nobody that which is really checking, okay, whether the clearances are provided based on the requisite installation of the kind of equipment. Say in Hyderabad, say there are many pharmaceutical units. They are supposed to put in place all the, okay, equipment that which is required to contain this pollution, all the check the pollutants and then treat them properly and all. But they are not really checking at the inauguration. That means when the plant is being set up, initially there is some consciousness or awareness. And after that, say plant is getting old. Say a plant is of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, the same kind of equipment. You can see what is the efficiency of that equipment after 15 or 20 years, whether really it will be able to contain the flow of these pollutants. And they are very, I think this has been one of the, okay, serious concerns which has really tapped the doors of the Supreme Court also. You are aware that many of this, I think many, this cleaning of Ganga, I think the project you are aware, okay. And what happens in this Ganga on the, okay, banks of the river Ganga, almost hundreds of the, okay, companies that which produce these paints, okay, and other things, they are there. So now all the pollutants are just simply let out into the river. So that is why what is happening, I think there is a movie also. I think, I don't know, Ram Teri Ganga Maili. You have anybody seen? So that is all about the pollution that is, and that is every river, I think everywhere the same kind of thing is happening. Unless, I think this is a one thing that individuals will not be able to really regulate. It is only the governments, by virtue of their authority, they should be able to regulate that, and their proper measures should be put in place. I think this is continuing unabated, not only with the this either any of the governments, but every government here is really not concentrating anything in checking these pollutions, particularly this pollution that is generated by the companies. So actually they are doing, they say that they have organizations, and particularly, you know, the pollution control boards, okay, they are there at the central level. National Pollution Control Board is there. At the state level, respective boards are there, but there are meetings and then there are reports generated, but nothing is happening. One dangerous thing I will tell you, Professor Kiranmai, that, you know, the medical waste that is generated by out of these corporate hospitals, it is found by the many of the, see, these voluntary organizations, that these corporate hospitals are not treating anything, including the used syringe and all those things, bandage, with bandage, used bandage and everything, they are just dumping, okay, dumping in the dump yards or throwing into the water streams or water bodies and all those things. But still, there is no action. That is why really there is a concern. If you take not only pharmaceutical, but every sector you take, I think people, I think our student friends and research scholars should study so much. You know, I think this was the day where many people consume this all soft drinks. Coca-Cola, this cola, that cola. Well, you know, so now the problem here, there has been a case that which has gone to Supreme Court relating to the Tamil Nadu, where what happened is to produce 1 liter of so the cola, there would be about consumption of 100 liters of water. So then what happened? The entire area around the area where this factory is located, so that all has gone dry. farmers have made a complaint saying that no, there are no crops that are rising in this area, and because of these things, and there is no groundwater levels have gone so deep that we are not able to extract and all those things. Finally, the case has gone to Supreme Court, and then, but Tamil Nadu, of course, Tamil Nadu government also has taken action. The plant was closed. But similar plants are happening around many other places. Two things are there in respect of this. Just I am giving you one example of software, this soft drinks production only. You see, two things. One is extracting the water from, because they don't use from any of the canals. They are setting up plants where there is no water body, but simply depending upon the extraction happening from the ground. That is one problem. Then second problem is the wastewater that is generated out of this. As I told you, 1 liter of production consuming about 100 liters of raw water. Where does this 99 liters of water go? That is becoming a waste. That is the real pollutant. So they are just leaving it into the open drains and all those things, again causing pollution to the fields. So these are all some of the issues, not only in Tamil Nadu, this has happened in Kerala and also in Andhra Pradesh. And we have such a plant here in Tenali and many other areas. I don't know about the Telangana, okay, some of these locations, but in all these places, there is a lot of hue and cry that is raised by the farmers of that area. But no, but the permissions are being given to them and they are operating and all those things. I think that is where I think government intervention is required.
Sir, we wish you to join video, sir. Will you please close that PPT and join
Yeah.
video?
Yes, I think I have closed.
Yeah, you can join video, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am there.
We would like to see.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
The
so
online
any
service
other
portal for
question?
you are very prominent.
Hmm?
And even that Bhopal issue actually is still very fresh in our minds. Bhopal.
Yeah, Bhopal, Anderson. I think the name
Yes.
is very popular now. People may not remember you and me, but they remember Anderson so much. So now you see, Anderson was able to leave the country even after the great disaster, and then nothing has happened. Even now, I think the compensation, okay, the major issue is not solved. I think it remained unsolved or unresolved. So that is the real problem. So any other question from anybody?
Anyone, if you wish to interact with sir, you can. Please feel free. Either you can chat or ask sir directly.
Yeah. After that, you can send questions. I think if time permits me, I think I would reply. So I request Radha Krishna. I think whatever is recorded, you please forward to me also. Okay.
Sure, sir. I think YouTube video also is there. I think Madam might have shared with you.
Sure. No issue. So
Radha
just,
Krishna, please present a formal vote of thanks.
yeah. Just to edit it and then send to me. Okay.
Sure, sir, definitely.
Thank you.
And also one request from our end, sir. Please share your PPT with us so that we have to upload it in IIC portal.
Portal.
Yes, no issue. No
Sure.
issue.
Thank
I
you.
would share.
Yes, sir. Thank you, madam, for this opportunity. On behalf of Organizing Committee and the Institutions Innovation Council, it is my proud privilege to propose a formal vote of thanks and acknowledge the valuable contributions of those who work really hard for making this event success. At the outset, I extend my gratitude to our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Ganta Chakrapani, sir, for his constant encouragement and inspiration in organizing programs of this nature and focusing on innovation, empowerment, and knowledge sharing. Thank you once again, sir. I
Yes, thank you all. Thank you all.
express our sincere gratitude, our distinguished,
So I thank
person,
Kiran
Professor.
Pawar and all of you. Okay. So for making this program happen.
Yes.
Okay. All the best then. Okay. I leave the meeting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Okay.